What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of To the Galaxy Pod, featuring your host, Slim. You can find him on X at RTR30111. You can find myself at Scotty Drown. It is not Scotty Clown, as Slim announced on the last show. It is with a D, not a C, Scotty Drown. But thank you all for tapping in. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to help us grow. Help the engagement go up so we get more and more viewers in here, more and more people to comment. With that being said, you want to get your thoughts involved in the show, hit the comment section. Scary Harry brought the guns out today. But it gets pretty live in the chat. It gets pretty fun in the chat, so definitely hop in over there. But today, what we're going to get into, we just saw you on Friday, so we don't have a ton to get into, but Sixers worked some magic over the weekend, at least for my sanity, right? The East, what is it shaping up as when you see a guy like Franz Wagner go down? You already got Paolo Banchero out for the Magic. The Magic are currently number 3 in the Eastern Conference. I expect them to drop. Where does this kind of leave the East? Should your Warriors should they even consider trading for LeBron James if it's possible? I definitely want to get my man Slim's thoughts on that later in the show. And then we're going to finish out with NBA Cup predictions. We're going to pick our champion of the NBA Cup in-season tournament. That being said, man, how are you doing on this fine Monday? I see that stale-ass face since I brought it up. How you feeling, bro? And I'll throw it to you. Congratulations, CP3, my man.
Hey man, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Like you said, we're back at it again. We don't have a ton to just cover. We were just here, but like I said, it's always good to link up and discuss hoops and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, man, shout out to CP, man. He what an accomplishment, man, to pass an all time great like Jason Kidd on such a. When you talk about a list of guys like point guards, it's a lot of guys in that list, and for CP to be number 2 says a lot about him. And I will say this about CP, man. Like although he has yet to win the NBA championship, that brother is truly a winner. Like every team he has went to, they have gotten better. Like the stats said, like the
Playoff
win
team.
percentage,
Yeah.
all like like you said, playoffs. So yeah, shout out to CP, man. You just gotta respect the guy like that. Obviously, it hit a little different for me because we had some battles against him, man. He was on the Clippers, he was on the Rockets. But one thing I can say about Chris Paul, I always respected him because that brother's a competitor for sure. So yeah, shout out to Chris Paul, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you said, and kind of takes me into a little bit different of a headspace because he was he's still playing. He's such a great playmaker, makes the rest of the players around him so great. And I think something that kind of gets undersold with CP3 is how he's been able to stay in starting lineups, even as an undersized guard that is obviously a little bit weaker on the defensive end. He's made himself impactful on the defensive end by being quick, having quick hands, right? Being able to get in guys' pockets, get steals, different things like that. Being a feisty competitor on top of the skills that he has as well. So I do want to give him credit for that. Just being able to hold his own defensively is not an easy thing to do for a guy like his size. Look at Isaiah Thomas, right? A super skilled guy. Can't stay in the league because he can't guard at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
that's like CP and Mike Conley. You gotta,
yeah. It brings the reason I say it takes me to a different headspace is because it begs the question for me: who in today's era, like younger players, who in today's era has that like CP3, that Jason Kidd, like next level prowess of like playmaking? Like, is there any guy that you look at like that?
Trae Young.
That's a good one. I like that.
This past couple plus weeks, man, he has been putting like a lot of outstanding numbers when it comes down to assists. Like,
yeah,
I think he just dropped like a 30 and 20 game against the Lakers last week or something like that.
Damn. No, I didn't even see that. Damn.
Yeah, Trae Young, and he's actually leading the league in assists. And yeah, Trae Young is a hell of a passer, and like him and Chris Paul is similar to their height.
Yeah.
How much they weigh or whatnot. So,
and he's still fairly young, to your point. Yeah,
and I would say Trae, and then the guy behind him. He hasn't been as good as I thought he would have been this season, but I would have to go with Tyrese Halliburton. He's a phenomenal passer as a point guard. He can make plays and whatnot and read the game at the elite level. So,
That
Yeah,
is
those are the two guys for sure.
That is a good pick too, man, because Tyrese Halliburton, it's funny how much the Pacers have kind of fallen off this year, from the hype of last year and the Pascal Siakam trade at the deadline and Tyrese Halliburton. I think they went to the NBA Cup championship actually last year, right? Against the Lakers?
The Lakers, yeah. Against the
Yeah.
Lakers.
So, I mean, they've kind of fallen from grace just to start this season. They got off to a slow start. They've been kind of banged up. But Tyrese Halliburton definitely is that like natural ability of passing, like to your point. The other guy, he's not of the younger era, but the other guy that is kind of like CP3 in my mind, James Harden. He's another guy that just incredible passer. Like he's the best passer that Joel's played with easily. And I'm sure that goes for a lot of guys around the league when it comes to playing with James Harden. So he's another guy. I wonder where he's at all-time assist numbers. I know he's always been more of a
definitely. I think scorer, if not top 10, he's for sure about to approach it.
He's got to be approaching, right? Yeah, because he's a monster with assists. So it is interesting. Like when you think about guys coming out of college, I don't know. Maybe I need to get a little bit more hip to this rookie class and their skill sets and see who might have that next level passing ability. But shout out to CP3, man. Definite Hall of Famer, even without the rings. Doesn't matter, man. He's changed the game so much. He's one of the faces of this era of basketball. So kudos to him, man. Putting his name in another part of the history books. Shout out to CP3, man. Let's talk some Sixers, and I do want to actually get into the Pacers when we get into our Eastern Conference segment, so it'll kind of all tie together here, but I'm going to throw it to you. I have my thoughts, my man. Sixers have won 4 of their last 5. They've won the last 4 with Podcast P. I'm honing in on this, man. Podcast P is the difference maker. Over the weekend, they were able to beat the Chicago Bulls 108-100 yesterday. Joel Embiid plays in this game for the first time in a couple weeks, gets 31 points, didn't have great shooting, but 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Maxey, you mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I asked you before the show, man, and I'm going to keep asking it. Is it Magic Maxey? Is it Magic Maxey? Or is it Tyrese Johnson? I don't know. My man dropped a triple-double yesterday. Had career high 14 assists. We're mentioning playmakers. Career high 14 assists for Maxey. Nonetheless, they are looking better than what they did to start the season, man. I'm wondering with you, man. Are you buying in a little bit, or is it too soon? Do you still got to see more before you can like buy into the Sixers getting back into the playoff picture, getting back into the talk of the East? They're not in the elites of the East, but at least in the talk of the East. Where are you at?
Yeah, I could definitely buy into it. Like you said, I wouldn't just buy too much into it, but the reason I'm kind of digging it is because I say this with all due respect, is the Eastern Conference is pretty much wide open. And when you look at the teams above you guys, like the Pistons, the Pacers, the Brooklyn Nets, so on and so on, like you guys can easily go on like a 10-game winning streak and get back in the mix of things. It's just a matter of Joel Embiid staying in the lineup consistently, as well as Paul George, and for Tyrese Maxey to bring that level of consistency like he did last season. So I could definitely see you guys getting back up there in the mix of things for sure. It's just a matter of putting it all together. So I'm buying into it. So
I'm curious from your perspective as a hooper, like when you see this team put together on paper, how do you view the roles? Like yesterday, for example, Embiid, obviously he's going to be the scorer. He's going to be the go-to guy that draws the double teams, feeds other guys.
Right.
Paul George only has 12 points, 7 rebounds in the game yesterday, 6 for 13 from the field. Maxey, the triple-double, but the more important thing, the assists, in my opinion, the 14 assists. Do you think that is like where Maxey really fits in with this group, or do you think that he needs to be more of like the scoring prowess? How do you see that fit between those 3 guys, just from your perspective?
Well, I think that for them, it's going to be always tough because I think you had this conversation, off the book, is like with Maxey, to be exact, with Joel Embiid and Paul George constantly being out the lineup, his role is constantly changing. So when these guys come back and play, it's like, okay, do I be a playmaker? Do I score? He's still trying to figure it out. But my advice to Max would be just kind of do both. Get your guys going, set the tone early, and you can go out there and get yours while being an elite playmaker,
Yeah.
setting guys up. That's the role I envision for Maxi, just kind of doing it all like a CP, and then going out there and get a bucket. Now for
Yeah.
Joel, for you guys to be an elite team, he has to be Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
walking 32 plus points per game, getting to the foul line,
Yeah.
rebounding the ball, stretching the opposing defense at the elite level, and protecting the rim. And then I look at a guy like Paul George. He don't necessarily have to give you guys like 20 plus points. Some along the lines like 19 on pretty good shooting splits to be nice, as well as holding his end on the defensive end.
Yeah.
That's the version of Paul George I need. Not for him to go out there and necessarily look for his own shot or whatever. Just doing the little things that helps ultimately win basketball games is pretty much the mindset Paul George should have at this stage of his career. And if all three of those guys kind of lock in on that mentality, y'all should be very good. If the others, like Caleb Martin and Kyle Lowry, Wabasele, all those guys can, continue to be good role players, I'm pretty sure y'all can get back in the mix of things for sure.
Yeah, no, I obviously I'm a Sixers fan. I agree with what you're saying, but it is the truth. Like at the end of the day, if Joel is not Joel, this team isn't going anywhere regardless. I think with PG, to your point, it's more consistency over the peaks and valleys for me. Like I think when you're giving us 26 one night and then 12 the next night, I think we are approaching the guy we don't talk about on this show anymore, his type of role where you have just these polar opposite types of games and you get no consistency in the middle. That's what I want to see as well. I want to see him in that 18, 19, 20 points per game mark.
You're right, but here's what I had to say. So if PG would have dropped 26 one game, right, and he followed it up with 12 points, but would you be satisfied if he only scored 12 points, but he had like 8 rebounds, 4 steals, maybe 2 blocks, 4 assists, like a glue guy, kind of doing like the little things? Would you be satisfied with that in terms of him, scoring like 20, 25,
That's a great question. That's a great question because I think you point to, and the guy I was talking about, Tobias Harris, obviously, I think that's the difference between him and Paul George is Paul George can give you the rebounding. He can give you the defense on the best player on the other team. And he can be a playmaker, which he's shown this season as well. So that's actually a great point. It's not all about the points with Paul George as it kind of is Tobias.
Yeah, if he can kind of lock in on doing the little tangibles, things that people don't necessarily pay attention to, that'd be a pretty good fit for him for sure.
And I think as the season goes on, this was always a team that I looked at that wasn't complete. Like they were going to be active around the trade deadline. So you have a guy like KJ Martin who has been balling lately. Quite honestly, he's been very good. Just a game ago. So not the Bulls game this over the weekend, but the game before that against the Magic on Friday. He had 20 points, just 3 rebounds, 2 assists, but he was 9 for 10 from the field, 1 for 2 from the 3-point line, played over 30 minutes, so gave us really quality play in that game. And that's kind of, I point to that game, that's been his best one, but he's been giving us some really good performances. So we'll see where the Sixers ultimately end up, man. They're 2 games back of the 8 seed right now. To your point about how bad the Eastern Conference is, there is like how many teams with 10 wins right now? There's 4 teams with 10 wins in the Eastern Conference right now, all in the same spot ahead of the Sixers. So we'll see how it plays out. This leads into that convo about the Eastern Conference, man, because Franz Wagner goes down. The Orlando Magic were looking like kind of this bright spot. Obviously, you have the Cavs. I think the Cavs are the ultimate bright spot of the Eastern Conference this year, but the Magic were kind of that second story that was kind of falling in line. You got the Franz Wagner, like, most improved player. I don't know if he can be most improved player, but he was definitely improving at an incredibly high level to the point where you called him an all-star. Exactly. You look at the East now, man, like it's not I say now because of the Franz Wagner injury, but even as a whole, like I look at some of these teams ahead of the Sixers specifically, and this is why I do have optimism. Detroit, I think the Sixers can get ahead of Detroit. Chicago, I think they can get ahead of Chicago, although Chicago They're all right.
They're pretty good.
Brooklyn, 10-14. I think we can get ahead of Brooklyn. So that's 3 teams right there that I definitively think the Sixers are better than. The Indiana Pacers have started out slow. I did want to ask you about that. What are your thoughts on the Pacers before we move on from there? Pacers. Because there's still part of me that, like, while they're having a slow start, the Sixers are too. So why can't I give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt as well?
It's a good point. It's a good point. But I think with the Pacers, it's more so like a not Maxi Tyrese Halliburton type of thing than it is like the whole Pacers team as a whole. Because I definitely thought he was going to come out this season like averaging like for sure over 20 plus points per game, but it just hasn't seemed to be the case thus far into the season. Although he has, as of late, been playing a lot better. I get that to him. But I think it's just Halliburton. Like, you can only go so far as your best player, goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Pacers fans saying that it's the addition of Siakam while he's having this slow start. And that was just interesting when I seen that. But
did they add context like to why they felt that way?
Maybe Siakam is shooting more shots. I don't
taking
know.
The ball out of his hands.
Maybe he can't do the things he was doing before Siakam got there. I don't know.
Siakam can, kind of make plays for himself. He can score, one-on-one. So maybe that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the concerning thing for me, man, to your point, is the assists. Like, he's a prolific passer. So, like, 8 assists is good per game. But what was he at last year? 12, 13? Sure.
He was 10, if not 10, over 10 for sure.
Last year, 10.9 assists per game. The year before that, 10.4.
11 assists.
Yeah, 11 assists per game, which he had some monster games passing the ball last year, but just weird to not have more assists than that. With this type of team, too, that you would think there's a lot of buckets to be had, from Tyrese Halliburton assists on this team. So I have to imagine they'll get it figured out. I mean, Benedict Mathurin's having a decent season.
Pretty good season, man.
Miles Turner is looking normal.
Yeah, Miles Turner, he's having an okay season.
So I think you're right. It is, like, I don't know if it's just Halliburton. Like, maybe it is figuring out that Pascal Halliburton fit. Maybe Benedict Mathurin being back takes the ball out of his hands a little bit more as well. You gave TJ McConnell that extension over the offseason. Maybe he just hones more minutes holistically. I don't know. It's weird. But I have a weird feeling that they will figure it out as well. And to your point earlier in the show, because the East is so weak. So, it is interesting. I'll go up the list, man. The Atlanta Hawks. They for real? Are they a playoff team? They feel like a playoff team.
Yeah, they're a playoff team for sure. Yeah, DeAndre Hunter has been balling. Well, honestly, all their wings. Jalen Johnson, for sure, all-star in my opinion. Trae Young, obviously leading the league in assists, one of the best passers. Dyson Daniels, my most improved player. Clint Capella, he's been pretty solid. Okongwu, he's been pretty good off the bench. So, yeah, and even the number one overall pick, Zachary, if that's how you pronounce his name, he's been pretty good as well. So, yeah, man, got to give Quinn Snyder a lot of credit.
And they have a pretty deep team, man. You look at it, there's 8 guys on that roster that is averaging double digits or more.
Yeah.
Trae Young with 20, Jalen Johnson with 20, DeAndre Hunter with 19, Dyson Daniels with 14, Bogdanovich with 12, the rookie with 11, Okongwu with 11, Capella with 10, Larry Nance with 9. So they're getting scoring from all over. You mentioned Trae Young and his passing ability, 12.2 assists per game. But Jalen Johnson doing a little bit of it all as well. 5 assists per game, 10 rebounds.
All-star, man.
Yeah, so this looks like a playoff team. It looks like a tough out in the postseason. It looks a lot closer to the Atlanta Hawks a couple years back when they ultimately beat my 76ers.
To the Eastern Conference Final. But yeah, get the Hawks their credit. They beat the Cavaliers twice, so.
And that's not easy. And they're kind of built similar to the Cavs. I don't mean like style of play, but I mean more like
can match up pretty well.
The depth in the matchups. Yeah, it looks like a nice set there. We talked about the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday, so I won't touch on them too much right now, although we'll talk about them in the NBA Cup predictions. Where are they at with the Miami Heat?
They've been playing better as of late, man. Like Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
He has been consistent all season, man. Like
they've won 3 straight.
He just won. He's the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and rightfully so. He's just been so consistent this season, just going out there providing buckets, being a playmaker, as well as Jimmy Butler starting to come along too. So, yeah, they've been a pretty good team in the fifth season. So,
career year for Tyler Hero. To your point, 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 48% from the field, which is great. Yeah, he's balling right now, man. So Jimmy Butler right now, maybe taking a step back. Maybe it's a good thing though. Regular season, like Jimmy Butler hasn't been able to stay healthy the last couple of years, so maybe this is what the Miami Heat have needed. Orlando Magic, man, are they going to plummet now?
It's a good question.
It's tough. They do have some players, like they do.
I don't want to just say that they will, because if Suggs, I forgot who they beat the other night, but he basically led them.
Was it the Sixers?
Was it?
He went off against us on Wednesday night last week.
No, this was like more recent, like the
over the weekend. Over the weekend.
Yeah, but anyway, he stepped it up, and I feel like if he can, step up to the plate, average like 24 points over the next couple of weeks or whatnot, they can stand to mix the thing. To me, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope have to step it up shooting, because he has not shot the ball well this season. At least not the level that I know he can shoot it at.
Yeah.
As well as other guys as well. So if they can everybody just step up, they should probably stand to mix the thing. Because like I said, the Eastern Conference is pretty much wide open. So
It's weak. Because I guess what you have to ask yourself, will they fall below the Detroit Pistons, the Chicago Bulls? Like, they can still compete with those.
Yeah, I think that they can withstand the seeding they at least top 5. I feel like
Yeah, and to your point about Jalen Suggs, man, over the weekend it was the Suns in the recent matchup. 26 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 for 10 from the 3-point line. Game before that against the Sixers, 22 points, 3 steals, 3 assists, 4 for 12 from the 3-point line. So he's getting a larger clip, obviously more attempts, but he's filling it up to an extent. So we'll see if he can keep that up. There's going to be room for guys like Mo Wagner to step in, Anthony Black, De Silva, the rookie, right? So they got some options, and maybe you get Paolo Banchero back. I don't know what his timeline is on, honestly, but maybe you get him back a little bit before. I don't know.
Hopefully by the end of the month at least.
1 month ago, Banchero was diagnosed with a right torn oblique. Will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. So we're right around that time frame to be reevaluated. So to your point,
but isn't it like, just like if you're the coach or the GM, like that is something to just think about. Like you're a young star player, Paulo, he go down with an injury like you just listed, and then here comes
like an ab injury.
Yeah, here comes Franz Wagner with literally the same injury.
It's like what is going on in Orlando that they
what
can't?
The hell is going on here? Like literally
ripping
the exact same injury.
It is weird, man. It is. The last team I did want to ask you about, because I think the Celtics, the Cavs, they kind of speak for themselves. Where are you at with the New York Knicks recently?
Yeah, Knicks. They're legit for sure. They're legit.
And I think they'll get better. I think they're one of the teams that will get better over the course of the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Karl-Anthony
Towns, he's leading the league in rebounding, so
Yeah, 13 rebounds per game, man. 25 points. He's having a career year. If he can play like that, 53% from the field, 45% from the 3-point line, 86% from the line. Those are winning. That's winning numbers from Karl-Anthony Towns. That's what it needs to look like. OG Anunoby looking good. It'll be interesting. They're another team that could make some maybe a move or two at the trade deadline, depending on what they want to do. But the Knicks, I do think, will get better. So that's kind of how your Eastern Conference is looking right now. It's a lot of uncertainty, is what it sounds like. There's a couple teams that have a stronghold over there, but a lot of uncertainty. I think over in the Western Conference, which we can talk about them maybe on the next show, maybe focus in on the West, but I think they're a little confusing, but for completely opposite reasons, because it is so competitive in the Western Conference. So just an interesting view across conferences, man. Last thing before we get to NBA Cup predictions, Slim, your squad, the Warriors. The only reason I brought this up to you, man, I'm not one to make nothing out of something, or something out of nothing is the way it should go there. How would you feel about the Warriors trading for LeBron, man? There was a rumor that came out, I believe it was NBA Legion on Twitter where I saw it. There's been rumors around the league that, maybe LeBron's opening up to a revisit of a trade to Golden State. How would you feel about that?
Well, if I'm being honest, like I said, it was with all respect. I respect the hell out of LeBron, one hell of a player. Obviously, one of the all-time greats that ever play this game. But for us, man, it just don't make sense for us to go out there and get a guy like LeBron at this stage of his career, because, I mean, we just talked about it, like, you have to think, okay, one, if I'm the Lakers GM and LeBron come to me and be like, hey, man, I want to go to Golden State, I want to play with Steph and Draymond.
Yeah.
I'm calling the Warriors front office, whatnot, and I'm going to be like, okay, LeBron want to come over there. But keep in mind, I'm taxing the shit out of y'all. I'm not, like, by any means, I'm not just giving y'all LeBron.
Give me Kuminga.
Wiggins, pods, draft capital. You got to consider all these things. And if we do get LeBron, okay, we just gave away our best wing defender in Andrew Wiggins. Okay, who's going to guard ball now? We just gave up a young uprising star, in my opinion, and Kuminga.
Just got in the starting lineup.
Yeah, Brandon Pajinski is a pretty solid, young role player as well. And we just gave up draft capital for a guy in LeBron who's probably not even going to play another year, maybe, if that. And like I said, with all due respect, like for LeBron to be going on 40 years old, you still have to respect him, because he is still doing pretty good things. Like, he's averaging like over 22 points for sure, I know. That's pretty good for a guy that's going on 40 years old in the NBA.
9 assists,
the fit,
8 rebounds.
9 assists, 8 rebounds. Like, the fit for me just isn't there. Like, it's not. We can't afford to have another older guy like that on the roster.
Because him and Draymond is kind of clunky.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
kind of. They're good playmakers for sure. They're smart enough to maybe figure it out. But I do feel you. I think like the value, man, in today's NBA, and just LeBron at 40. Like, to your point, like maybe you get next season out of LeBron, right? Maybe. It's a big maybe. Because now you're taking him away from his son as well in LA, right? Like, he's splitting up. Obviously, he's not doing it. This isn't happening without LeBron wanting it to happen. So I guess that doesn't really matter. But what you would have to give up for LeBron just almost feels not worth it, man. The only reason it seems like you almost consider it is because Steph is older, Draymond's older. This is your chance at a championship.
Yeah, I can look. I see that perspective too. Like,
and do you think your team is a championship team right now, the way it's constructed?
Yeah, that would be the reason you would then pull the trigger for a guy, not even like just LeBron, like any other guys that's available. Where you have to include your young guys. So
Cam Johnson or LeBron?
Cam, because I know we won't have to give up as much to get him. So,
It's a wild question. It's a wild question.
Yeah.
But to your point, you wouldn't have to give up nearly as much to get a guy like Cam Johnson. But it might fit really well with your current squad. So we'll see what the Warriors end up doing. I think the one thing that we can count on, though, at least from my perspective outside looking in, the Warriors are going to do something to improve their roster before the trade deadline. They're going to make a move.
You have to, man.
Because you almost have too many guys. And I hate to say that because there's never enough quality basketball players, but you have enough guys you could give a 2-for-1.
You're right. We had this problem last season as well. Like, we just had a lot of guys that were just, they could go out there and play, but we just couldn't play them. So
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the Warriors kind of finish out towards the trade deadline. I shouldn't say finish. We're not even halfway through the season, but closing on the trade deadline in February. That being said, man, Warriors are in the NBA Cup Finals, or whatever you want to call them, semifinals. Or I guess we would call it the Western Conference semifinals of the NBA Cup. So out west, tomorrow's matchup is going to be the Thunder and Mavs. On Wednesday, we got the Rockets, I believe, hosting the Golden State Warriors. I think the Rockets are the 2 seed and the Warriors are the 3.
Is it in Vegas?
Are they all in Vegas? Is that what it is?
Am
I missing the mark there?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me see. Yeah. I can double check here. Let's see. Vegas. No, it says.
It's at Houston. Okay.
It says because I looked at the Milwaukee game tomorrow, and it says that one is in Milwaukee. So yeah, so they do have like home court advantage. So just to give the other side, the Eastern Conference, you have the Magic and Bucks squaring off tomorrow, and then the Hawks and the Knicks on Wednesday. So looking at this, we're gonna go through, give our predictions. Before that, I do want to talk about. Are you surprised to not see the Lakers in here, man, after last year?
To Darius, hell no. Me and Scotty knew this, bro. We knew it was on the matter of time. So, Darius, if you watching this, hey, what can I say?
Yeah, I thought maybe the AD MVP campaign could last like at least until the NBA.
Here's the thing, though, Scotty. I mean, they basically ran the same roster back, bro. Like, they didn't improve. Like, they didn't improve. So, hey, man, like we know what LeBron and AD, we know what they can do.
We know what they're going to bring. Yeah. It's a good point, man. So, the other team that was there last year, the Indiana Pacers, who we mentioned earlier, obviously not here as well. Another team that just isn't starting out nearly as good as they started last year. So, kind of makes sense. Out of the 8 teams in here, are there any surprises, in your opinion?
I'm not going to lie, man. Atlanta. Yeah,
Atlanta and Houston as the 2 seed, I think, is what surprises me. Maybe not the fact that Houston's in it. I think they're a very good team. But the fact that they're the 2 seed in the West is interesting to me. But yeah, I think the Hawks have to be the biggest here.
We own Houston, man, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate over there.
So I assume you got the Warriors beating the Houston Rockets, right?
That's light work, bro. That's light work.
I actually picked the Warriors to win that game as well, man. So I'm with you there. What about the other Western Conference matchup? The Thunder and the Mavs.
Now that's going to be a good matchup for sure.
It's a hell of a game.
To me, if Clay can pop off, I think that'll be the key because PJ Washington has been playing phenomenal as of late. But if Clay can have one of those games, that'll be the key for the Mavericks getting it done. Ultimately, I think I'm gonna go with OKC. Like, although that no Chet, like Isaiah Hartenstein has just been like such a good fit, man. He just does the little things that help you win basketball games. So I'm gonna go with OKC on that one, man, for sure.
Yeah, it feels like OKC is gonna take like the next steps this year, and I can't remember exactly. I need to go back and look at my notes. I'm pretty sure I had OKC going to the finals this year.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I obviously like them to win this matchup against the Mavs. I think the Mavs are a really good team. I think this is going to be a really good game, good matchup. But Thunder at home, you got SGA. We'll see. Can Clay give you a big game? It's a good matchup ultimately, but I am going to go OKC. Just the defensive prowess. I think they can lock in, get serious for something that's a little bit elevated as far as like a NBA Cup winner go home type of scenario. So I think they can lock in a little bit better than the Mavs in this one. So I did go with the Thunder as well. In the Eastern Conference, man, these matchups. If Franz was healthy, I think it would be a much better matchup there. But I'm obviously going Bucks in that Magic Bucks matchup.
Yeah.
You the same? I would assume.
Bucks, yeah. I mean, if the Magic pull that one off, though, I'm like, man.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
It's definitely it's possible.
But I'm gonna go with Giannis, the level he's playing at right now. We saw Middleton the other night.
Middleton, Cash.
You was texting me on that. I feel you though. He's a difference maker. Yeah, he's a difference maker. So I went with the Bucks as well. What about the Knicks and Hawks? Who are you going with there?
Man, I'm gonna go with the underdogs. Man, I'm gonna go with Atlanta, man.
Atlanta?
I'm gonna go with the Hawks on that one, bro. Yeah.
They match up well. They match up well with the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. What are the Hawks gonna do with Cat? Is what I'm interested to see. Yeah. I went with the benefit over doubt. I went with the Knicks in this one. Just kind of stamp themselves. We're better than the Hawks. You know, like it's one of those games. They've gotten off to maybe a slower start than what people imagine for the New York Knicks. So I think they can kind of get some hype back in this NBA Cup tournament. So I did go with the Knicks in that one. So you have Bucks and Hawks. We have the same in the Western Conference, OKC and Golden State. Let's stay in the East real quick. We'll hop back over to your Warriors. But Bucks and Hawks for you. Who do you got out of those two?
Bucks and Hawks. Oh, man. Bucks and the Hawks.
It's a really tough matchup, honestly.
Because the Hawks, they match up pretty well with the Bucks if you just think about it. I'm going to go with Bucks on that one. I think Dame will pop off.
I feel that. Who's going to guard Dame? Yeah.
Now, Dyson Daniels, he's a damn good defender. He's going to for sure irritate Dame, but I
forget about that. Yeah.
Going to pop off for sure, yeah.
No, I mean I feel the same. Even though it's the Knicks, I'm going with the Bucks over the Knicks in that matchup.
Oh, really, huh?
Yeah, I am. I think as much as I don't like Giannis, as much as I'm not a fan, I do feel like he's kind of stamping this season right now, and I just feel like once again, this is a moment where if Giannis comes out, drops 35 on the Knicks, they get the W, go to the NBA Cup championship, right? That's going to be a great start to the season for him and the Milwaukee Bucks to kind of right the first part of the ship this season. So I do like the Bucks in this one. They're just hot right now. I think that's a big thing too. They're playing some good basketball right now. They're confident, and they do have the best player in that matchup at the end of the day. So I went with the Bucks. What about Western side, West Coast, OKC and Golden State?
Go to State, man. We got so far we're 0-2. Wait, hold up. No, we're 1-1 against. Yeah, because OKC. Yeah, so far we're 1-1, and I think we can get the job done. Last time we played OKC, we didn't have Steph, so it was a pretty interesting game for sure. So I can see us getting the win. Should be a good matchup.
It's interesting, man. I actually went with the Warriors here as well. Part of it is, no Shet. I think that not having him takes
his presence.
Takes the Thunder down a level, like just a minor level, just a little bit. I think the Warriors, with their experience and kind of the depth that they have on their roster as well, I think this is important for the Warriors. I'm talking about stamping right now, but I think it's important for the Warriors to stamp themselves early on in this season. Kind of like, I hate to use the Lakers because we see where they're at now, but like the Lakers did last season, they come out, they win the NBA Cup in-season tournament, and you kind of you stamp your name. You put yourself back in the mix. Right. And I think this would be a good step for the Warriors to do so. I think they get the one up here on the Thunder. So I got the Bucks and the Warriors. I believe we have the same exact NBA Cup championship here. Where are you going? You staying faithful, or what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm staying faithful. Non-biased speaking, bro. I think if everybody healthy, we're getting it done for sure.
I like it. I do think your depth presents something different to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if they can match that. I did go with the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA Cup. No disrespect to the Warriors. Once again,
not taking, brother. Not taking.
Feels like Giannis needs to stamp something. Yeah, it's funny. He hasn't had like down years or anything. Like he was in the MVP convo last year. I feel like
that's true. But then again, you can also say that because they was making it a thing. Is Giannis underrated?
Yeah.
You can kind of argue that he is in a sense of ways. So
yeah, a little bit of voters fatigue, right? With Giannis and the MVP talk, and is he the best player in the world? And I also think, to your point, what you brought up on Friday's show, man, he's taking a step this year. Like, as impossible as that sounds, 30-year-old Giannis has taken a step. Also, the rumors at the beginning of the season, man, about him, not wanting to really be in Milwaukee long term, like maybe forcing his way out of Milwaukee. He's kind of put a stamp on that. Like, no, I'm gonna ball out at a very high level in Milwaukee. So, yeah, man, I went with the Bucks, but I think that would be either the Bucks in OKC or the Bucks in Golden State would be like my favorite matchup that could happen in this NBA Cup tournament. So here's hoping, man. I'm hoping we get the best matchups possible. But
that would be fun.
What do you think well, I guess that's a dumb question. You got them beating the Rockets, but like out of the Rockets and OKC, I guess OKC would be the team that you fear a little bit more there, just with their experience between the Rockets and OKC, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
even with no Chet.
Yeah, even with no Chet. OKC is just a damn good team. And you've seen the leap that Jalen Williams has made. Like, you know what SGA going to give you. They got wing defenders, Dort, Caruso.
Hold up. Is SGA the best player on the floor when OKC and Golden State plays? I want to hear from the non-biased perspective.
Non-biased. Yeah, he is. I mean, this season he's just been better than Steph. Like, stats wise, anyway. Though, like,
that's not a diss to Steph.
Yeah, like, hey, wait, like, anybody know how I feel about Steph, man? That's my guy, man.
Yeah, be interesting. That would be quite a feat for the Warriors to run through.
Dylan Brooks.
That's why I love that y'all match up with them first, just to increase the intensity between these two teams, bro.
Entertainment, bro.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Like the Rockets and Warriors are fun to watch. It is true entertainment. So I am definitely looking forward to Wednesday. I think Wednesday, well, Thunder and Mavs is a good matchup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Should be good basketball. That's something to look forward to over the next 2 days. Because there is a little bit of a lack of hoops over the next couple of days with this happening. You get the 4 games over the next 2 days. You get 1 game tonight, and that's going to be it. And then we'll see the winner.
You guys don't play till Friday, right?
Friday. Let me just double check.
I don't think I see. Yeah,
Pacers.
I see guys' name on the schedule.
Yeah, so when does the NBA Cup? Oh, okay, Saturday, Friday. No, Saturday. And then I guess. Okay, so Saturday will be the next round of games for the NBA Cup. And then Tuesday will be the NBA Cup championship next week.
Okay, yeah.
Just so you got a little bit of a timeline. So that's great. We'll be back here next Monday to preview the NBA Cup championship. That will be easy. Easy combo. But obviously
I think, man, you did this last year too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like right when we first started doing the pod together for real. Yeah. Got right into it. So that'll be fun. We'll obviously have this whole week of hoops to kind of run back through, recap, and discuss. Anything else before we get out of here, Slim?
Man, make sure you guys, whether you're on X, YouTube, just make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Follow me and my guy Scotty on X. Follow DSM Media. Everything is being brought to you by DSM Media. Make sure you follow the YouTube page as well as the X account. As well as turn on notifications for every channel so you guys won't miss any more of this great content moving forward, man.
Yes, sir.
Have yourself a Slim Jim, really, bro. This guy here, man. Yo, bro, this
that's my new job for you, bro. I made that just for you. Hey, we gotta get sponsored by Slim Jim. That's what we need. The Slim Jim sponsorship, bro.
Macho Man.
Macho Man Randy Savage with the Slim Jim. Yeah, no, I remember those. Brother. D-Rab checking in. Welcome back. I'm glad you got some nap, some sleep time there, man. Oh, my bad. He was putting the kids to sleep. He wasn't getting nap time. That was a mislead. He said, "Why Draymond turn into a 99 overall?"
Hey, man, it's
Gobert?
always personal when Draymond gets messed up against Rudy Gobert.
He hates that motherfucker.
Yeah, you go back to last year when he choked the man. He put the man in a full chokehold.
It is wild. It is wild to see the levels. I just want to view because you told me to go look at the dunk. Draymond, the 6'7" last night, 3 for 5 with the yam over Rudy Gobert.
He went with the tween on him, man. Oh, like I said, look at Draymond. This man really saucing up.
Oh man, appreciate you, D-Rab. Even if you're a little late, my man. Appreciate you tapping in. His hate for Gobert. That's facts. That's facts. Yeah. We'll get to see his hate for Dylan Brooks and see how that fuels him on Wednesday. So that'll be interesting as well, man. You missed it, D-Rab. Go back and rewatch if you can. Towards the middle part of the show, we talked LeBron to the Warriors. So that should be interesting for you. Go check that out, brother. But if you guys saw where D-Rab is commenting over from YouTube, if you're not already subscribed over on the YouTube channel, be sure to head over there. Subscribe to the NBA to the Galaxy Pod YouTube channel. That way you can get involved in the show, get in the comments, like the video, and help us grow over there. But of course, be sure to follow on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, as well. Mm-hmm. You can find my co-host here, Slim, at RTR30111. You can find myself at Scotty Drown. And of course, DSM Media at DSM_media to the Galaxy Pod. It's just that at to the Galaxy Pod on X. So be sure to follow all the accounts to keep up with us. That's going to be it for this episode. We will see you probably next Monday, but if we're feeling froggy, we might hop on here on Friday and get something in for you. So we will keep you posted, but definitely next Monday at the latest. We'll see you guys again.
Peace, everybody. Be easy.
Peace.